Okay, we're here at Fighting Chance Promotions with the one, the only, Mr. Jon-Lewis Dickinson. We're taking a look back on 2014 and looking ahead to 2015 when he's got a big fight coming up in April. But before we get to that, there were some highs and some lows 2014.
Aye.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah. I mean, obviously you've got to start winning the Lonsdale belt. Massive,
Outright.
Massive achievement for us, you know. It's something I always wanted to do, and it was something I eventually did in Newcastle Arena. It was great, like, but
against a dangerous opponent as well.
Aye, definitely. Like you say, Neil Dawson, he beat some good lads, you know.
Yeah.
He's a massive puncher, very dangerous. So it was a great win, and like I say, for me, belt as well. So I've got that. No, I can never take that away from us. And then obviously we went into the Mackenzie fight. And I'll always say how me and mine wasn't on that job, you know. It wasn't at all. In hindsight, I wish I never took the fight. Really, I shouldn't have done. I should have given myself a bit more time, and just like obviously maybe stop in the gym, take the wood for a little bit longer.
Sometimes as a boxer, sometimes the fights don't come along, so you have to take them when they come.
That's
as well.
I mean, I'm not the type of person who would ever like pull out of a fight either. You know, like in training, I felt like I should have done, but I didn't want to. So I kind of went along with it, and he's a massive puncher, you know. And I think if you go in with a mindset like I did, that's exactly what's going to happen to anyone really.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of power he carries. It's not just me who's going to get you know, on a bad night, get knocked out by Mackenzie. Anyone would, because that's the way he punches.
Well, I was saying before, he's not called the upsetter for nothing.
That's it, exactly. He's upset plenty, hasn't he? And I mean, I know in my own mind, if your mind was on the job, it would have been a different story, you know. The fight would have definitely been different. I mean, I wasn't me, and I wasn't even in the fight, you know, really. So in a way, I wish I'd just listened to my heart, really, my heart, not my head. Listen to my head over my heart, and maybe it's just knocked the fight back and said, no, I'll wait later on in the year.
But sometimes you've got to go through these experiences to learn. It's like if you were faced with a similar situation again, because you've got the experience, it's like, I've been here before, I know what to do.
That's all about life, isn't it? That's how you learn. That's how you learn things. So I mean, if you look back at anything, that's how you kind of learn, isn't it? You do something wrong, you learn, I'll not do that again.
Yeah.
So I know now that if I was ever like that position, I wouldn't take a fight now. I would just pull out and just say, look, my mind's not on the job, because it's a dangerous sport. You can get hurt, but it's happened, you know. And like you say, it's a learning curve. You learn from it, and it's happened. It's in the past.
It wasn't a long, damaging fight either. It was obviously caught. It was towards the end of the second round, wasn't it?
It could have been worse. I could have been pummeled from pillar to post, you know, and been in a really bad way. But as it happens, I got back to the changing room, and I felt like I'd never even been in a fight, like fitness wise, you know. Exactly, but like, it's one of them things. It happens, and like, see, you learn from it. And
then you had the comeback fight with Courtney Fry, which it didn't start ideal, that's for sure.
Definitely not. I think.
Well, it did start ideal in terms of you were dominating before he caught you.
I think, if anything, I underestimated his power. You know,
because he was coming up, wasn't he?
That's it. I mean, I'd watched videos of him, and obviously I knew Courtney Fry. I've known him for years since I was a kid, you know, and he'd always been light heavy. And I mean, I watched videos of him, and one thing I thought was he didn't seem to carry much power, you know. And kind of when he moved to cruiserweight, he was unknown quantity really, because nobody knew really what he was going to be like, because that was only, he boxed Roy Jones Jr. in his first cruiserweight fight, which you can't get off that.
No, because Roy Jones Jr. has still got the skills, but you don't know.
I mean, that's it, exactly. That's not a kind of fight that you can judge what he's like, you know. To be fair, I didn't even watch that fight, because from what I got told was he kind of froze in you know, as he was in front of a superstar, which a lot of people would. I didn't watch that fight. I watched his light heavyweight fight. So I got in there, and like I say, I kind of underestimated his power. Everything else went great. My fitness now, I was fit. I mean, obviously I showed that by getting up and obviously in the first round
Yeah.
after the 2 heavy knockdowns, you know.
Especially after how the previous fight had gone as well.
Well, that's it. I mean,
That's a good check.
that's it. 2 heavy knockdowns, got up and carried on, and obviously won nearly every round from there onwards. You know, I mean, with the scorecards. I mean, I was got a point took obviously later on,
Which
so,
was obviously
and I
very
only
costly
got
as it
to
was.
get beat by a point. So you're talking, it was a 10-7 round 1, and the point took obviously later on. I've won every round really since that point onwards. So I took a lot of positives from that fight as well as obviously the defeat, you know. And like I say, I did underestimate him, and one thing you can't really do in boxing is underestimate someone, and I should know that. But again, you make these mistakes, you know. We're only human, and I kind of underestimate his power with him coming up from light heavy, and kind of thinking you're not going to hurt me, which anyone can hurt you really. You know what I mean? If you walk under a shot, anyone can hurt you. One of the worst things.
Lee Moore went in with Craig Dixon thinking he's not going to hurt me, and Craig hurt him in the first round.
One of the worst things you can do, you know, is obviously underestimate someone's power, and I did that, and it's like I say, it's another one of them learning curves. Doing it, I never kind of have before. I think it was just the fact that he'd been at light heavy for so long, like all of his career, you know.
And you obviously being the natural
and a good light heavy as well, because he boxed like for as long as I knew back when he was in the Commonwealth Games, and he was Europeans boxing for England, representing the country, you know, as a light heavyweight as well. So that's years and years ago. This. So as he'd been for that long, I thought, he's maybe just fat and kind of, you know,
he doesn't want to make the weight anymore. That's why he's
when I mentioned him after the fight, I says I underestimated your power, and I didn't expect you to be as strong. And I said, will you come up from light heavy? And he says, I've walked around at 15 stone for years and boiled down to light heavy, you know, which. It was either going to be that way, or it was going to be the fact that he couldn't be bothered to make light heavyweight anymore. So
that's just your luck,
that's it, exactly. But like I say, I took a lot of positives from it. I showed a lot of heart and fitness, and come back to win all them rounds, which not a lot of people would have done.
Yeah, well, not a lot of people would have got through the first one.
That's it, exactly.
Because I think that it was obviously caught you clean.
Aye.
But the second one, it was more pressure against the ropes, and it was a matter of obviously. He looked. I mean, he put a lot of shots into it as well there, which obviously helped you later on in the fight. But I mean, from ringside, just you getting through to the final bell, regardless of how competitive you were, just getting through to the final bell. I think it showed the condition, but it showed the heart. And it's it happens with boxing. Some people are going to doubt you.
Yeah.
As soon as you have a couple of defeats, I was talking with Ronnie before, and with Amir Khan. You know, he had 2 defeats, he's getting written off, and look where he's on, potentially fighting Mayweather next.
That's it.
So obviously rebuilding now, looking into 2015, you've got a big fight, April the 4th.
Yeah, big fight. April the 4th, Newcastle Arena. I've got Stephen Simmons, undefeated fighter from Scotland, for the WBC international title. So massive fight, massive stage. It's all there just to be done, you know.
Now with Stephen Simmons, what do you know about him?
I've knew Stephen Simmons for a long time. I'm actually surprised our paths have never met before this, you know. In the amateurs, I thought the fight could have happened. I mean, he was boxing lads I'd boxed. He was on the GB squad night, you know. He was so.
Have you sparred together before?
I've never sparred with him, no. I've never actually met the lad, you know, but I've watched him box, and like you say, he's a good fighter and undefeated in 11, and obviously got that belt. It's something I want, so it's going to be a good fight, you know. I think it's going to make for a cracking fight. But I'm confident, and I'm going to get the training done in the gym and get plenty of sparring in, and I'll go in there ready and looking forward to it.
And obviously you can't look past your next fight. But in terms of 2015, if you could paint a dream in terms of how the year is going to pan out, what do you think may come in the next year?
Well, I'll be truthful, like obviously with this belt what I'm fighting for, and the fight that it is, the winner of this is going to go on, I think it'll go on to something big, you know, and there could be a big fight out there, whether it be for a European title afterwards or what, or something along them lines, you know. It's going to be a big fight, and obviously that would be the ideal thing for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, I'm coming off 2 losses, you know. To get this opportunity is
But you've learned lessons from both. One of them in terms
I?
of the build-up, and one in terms of underestimating power, maybe
that's
switching
it.
off, because you know you can't switch off for split seconds and things like that, and obviously you did.
I know. I mean, I've learned a lot from it, you know. Like I say, I'm going in 100% confident that I can beat him. What I'm saying is, it's going to be a hard fight, and the winner's going to go on to a big fight, you know, after, maybe it's in the summertime.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. So that's obviously what I'm
there's
aiming.
your motivation.
That's what I'm aiming towards. That's my motivation, and look for, like I say, a European or something bigger in the summer. That would be. I think that's really potentially what we're looking at.
Well, again, because obviously you're one of the most established names in North East boxing, and have been for quite a while now. And I think because of that, people tend to think you maybe he's in your early 30s, or you know what I mean. Plus, you know, you've got a lived-in face like me, but it's like at 28 as a cruiserweight. This is probably your best years coming ahead now.
Of course, that's it. I mean, don't get us wrong. In the gym and that, before last fight, I was feeling better than ever, you know. And even in the fight with Courtney Fry, I was throwing punches that I've never threw before, you know. I was trying things.
Yeah.
Body shots. I caught with some lovely left hooks to the body, which I've never been thrown. But I'm trying these things and I'm working on them, you know. So if I can start bringing more to my game, which we're working on all
without
the time,
losing what you've already got.
Keep the basics, but work on more things. Then we're laughing, and that's obviously what we're doing now. That's why I'm in the gym tonight after graft. You know, we're practicing these things, and I've got plenty of time over the next 13 weeks to work on these things and get ready for Stephen Simmons and get a game plan for him and just pull it off.
Well, apart from unfortunate and unexpected injuries, there's no reason why this shouldn't be the best training camp you've ever had in terms of the experience you've had recently, fresh lessons. You're in good nick now, whereas you had to lose weight for the last fight to come down. You're starting off in you know, pretty good nick after Christmas and everything. So there's a lot of positive things to look at there. It's just a matter of doing it now, I suppose.
Absolutely, it's all up to me, you know. Right, obviously me and the team will all put the graft in, and I'm sure, like I say, 110% confident that we're going to win, and we're going to be fighting for bigger and better things in the summer of 2015.
Well, without doubt, you, if not you're one of the most popular guys in boxing in the region.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it on camera. Phil Jeffries actually spoke to me last year,
right,
and he actually named you as the nicest guy he's met in boxing.
That's all right.
So it's not just the boxing why people follow for the guy that you are, and I wish you the very best of luck. We'll be doing some build-up work ahead of the fight, so we'll come back and we'll see you in training and things like that. But in the meantime, John, thanks very much, mate.
Spot on. Thanks very much. Cheers.
There we go, mate.